Women will underestimate their strength and guys will overestimate their strength.
That
I
is
know
true.
that because we did a deadlift contest at the All About Downtown Festival in downtown Jersey City. And we had a booth and we had a deadlift contest, deadlift twice your body weight. And guys, they, God help them. Yeah.
Gotta love the confidence, though.
That's the thing about men. They love to prove themselves. It's how we made it through centuries of war and making it through fitness was through confidence.
Welcome to the Movement Hub podcast. I am your host, Manny.
And I am Josh, guys. Welcome back. I'm glad you are sticking with us and making us a part of your day.
Thank you to our 55 followers as of today, and hopefully you turn into 56.
Wow, okay.
We're getting a lot of clicks.
We're getting a lot of clicks, but not a lot of
Make the 1,000.
subscriptions.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys. Every subscription helps feed Teddy, and he gets a treat after every.
All of us, really.
And my cat gets cat
That-
food too.
Yes. Do you want our pets to die?
It's on your hands.
Subscribe now. All right.
Now you are forced. Anyway,
Welcome to a special Q&A episode.
there you go. Coach Josh here wants to coach you up on some answer these questions.
That's a nice hat.
New York or nowhere, baby.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm exposed.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to wear
I was
this.
like, you got the same hat and all and everything. Okay.
Anyway,
hey.
Coach Tevez,
Yes.
how are we going to run this?
So we're going to go randomly based off of some questions that people submitted.
Yeah.
And we are going to say it as serious as possible
Yes,
and
that's
give
what we're
our
on.
best informed and misinformed expertise.
That's
on
what
it.
we're all about.
Okay.
All right. And
So this question comes from Natty Raya. These are questions that were we asked online. Any fitness-related questions people ask. Don't kill the messenger. When did fitness begin?
when did fitness begin? I don't know if you're big on your history of fitness and physical culture. Manny, when did it begin?
My fitness began.
No. When did fitness,
Oh, like actual
the
fitness.
when did it all start?
Oh,
Was it Adam and Eve? Did they do
Yeah.
some calisthenics back
yeah,
then?
there you go. From the time that the world just magically appeared, that's what happened. Fitness has started. It's a survival of the fittest. That's why there are species.
Yes. I don't know when it started.
Coach
I,
had to think about that one.
I don't know how.
Can
you
I
go-
had to Google this.
Can you Google when did fitness begin?
3000 BC.
According to AI, it just says
AI.
back thousands of years. Google AI.
Thousands of years.
Ancient civilizations, Egyptians introduced structured fitness training around 2000 BC.
Oh, you meant slavery. Got it. Okay. Someone had to build these pyramids.
Survival of the fittest, like I said.
Yeah.
In China, Confucius taught that physical activity was necessary to prevent organ malfunction, which led to the development of Kung Fu gymnastics. India, yoga is believed to have originated at least 5,000 years ago.
Oh.
And of course, military training in several different empires.
Military training is very big into fitness, and the only way you can win is if you have the best army. So you need to make sure your army is capable and suited. Make sure they reach these standards, Manny, that they can deadlift twice their body weight and do 10 chin-ups. I want to make sure my military is ready to conquer and invade other land. So yes,
Also, on the flip side, I know in Nordic culture, because of Vikings being off on adventures in sea, women had to be strong
you're damn right they
to
did.
fight off any people trying to invade their villages. Hence why some will cite that as the reason why a lot of Nordic women tend to gravitate towards strength sports like CrossFit.
Evolution, they've evolved. They had a strong female culture back then. Though, and that's why they're in the CrossFit games and they got these Brock Lesnar traps. It's like amazing. And they Scandinavians, man, I'm telling you, different breed, Vikings. So yeah, that's when we think fitness started, guys. Pyramids, ancient Egypt, Confucius time.
India.
As soon as warfare started, you had to get in shape for it. Right now we have high rocks, you have a marathon. Back then they had war.
We
So,
still have war
I mean, we
today.
still have war today, but
What?
they didn't create, hey, let's do these things. You know the guy that,
As you had something and someone else wanted it,
and
They
like,
coming for you.
you need to fight.
They coming for you.
Physically.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the first person that did a marathon died. I think he was in Greece. He did a marathon, and I think it was the city of Marathon, and then he died after.
Because he had to relay a message.
Yeah, because of wartime
Yeah.
things.
That
He was just forced up and just decided to run for no reason.
I have no idea, but that's ancient Greece for you. And now we're doing it, and
just for fun.
just for fun. And I don't think anyone's dying now. I think we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've evolved. Well, they didn't have sneakers back then.
Yeah. Barefoot.
Yeah, if they had Brooks back then, I think he would have made it. Maybe a little bit of sunblock. But yeah, that's the answer to when fitness started. Thank you for the question.
Oh, so next question. Why is my ass so
The question is, why is my ass so fat? So someone said, can you tell us who sent this question?
ethereal whoosh?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Thank you for following. We will answer your question.
Maybe you're doing way too many hip thrusts, squats, and deadlifts. So if that's an issue, stop it.
First of all, why are you complaining? All right.
There are people
There.
going to different countries to get these injections and dying over them.
That's what I'm saying. People are artificially putting it right up their rear ends from dead tissue.
Some people are gaining 30 pounds just to get that fat liposuction
that BBL.
and add it to their butt.
First of all, why you have a fat ass is basically because your parents have fat asses, and the parents before them, and your ancestors before them, and who knows what they did.
It's a generational gift.
It's a generational gift. Some people have calves, and some people now in 2024 think they can grow calves because they did a couple calf machine raises and think it's gonna happen. No, you did not have the centuries of your ancestors working,
For the
planting
calves.
rice, going uphill in what's your nearest mountain in Hawaii? You haven't,
Diamond Head.
huh?
Mountain?
Yeah,
Diamond Head.
Diamond Head.
Yeah.
It's an active volcano, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
Oh, interesting. But when it was active, a lot of people had to walk up and down. That's why you see these Hawaiians with these calves and whatnot. And then further down the road, you got big calves. So you have generations of big asses. And if you don't, then I feel sorry for you. Maybe you were indoors. Your lineage was indoors most of the time. You didn't do the hard work. You stayed in, and you were, I don't know what,
Maybe you got big traps.
working on a windmill. There is a lot that has to do, like Dan John was a part of the Highland Games, which is a lot of people in Scotland, Ireland, the British Isles, very upper body dominant. Yes, very upper body dominant. You won't see them in the Olympics for weightlifting because they don't have the hip for it. But the Highland Games, caber toss, they grab a big log and over here, so they are very burly.
That rock with boulder and you throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah. Thank your ancestors for that too. So that's why you have a big ass, is because people were doing their squats and hip thrust back in the day.
So that you didn't have to do it.
So no, you still have to do it.
Oh, you have to
You
do
still
it.
have to do it.
Okay.
Come on, so that the future generation can carry on this tradition.
Hashtag BBL.
Yes. Next question from Julian Michael. Amount of workouts per week. What's the best
Oh, I'm gonna pull out it depends card here.
Oh,
It says it depends.
And neon sign.
So my thoughts. Here you go. Beginner. Uh, I say it depends because it's about how much time you actually want to invest into the gym. I think about it as the more you invest into the gym, the more results you're going to get if you're training properly. But I think a good starting point for beginners, if you want to have like the lowest hanging fruit, I think anywhere from 2 to 4 training days per week is going to be the sweet spot when it comes to actually seeing progress in the gym. And then for advanced people, definitely got it has to be 4 to 6. It also depends on what advanced means because you could be a person who's been training for 6 years and all you've been doing was 2 times a week, and you consider yourself advanced. Then a good progression from there is doing 3 times a week. So I think this question is like very broad. It really depends where you're coming from. But for absolute beginners, I would probably say 3 to 4 is a sweet spot. I think 2 is a little too little.
I'm gonna go based off of like if you're a beginner, you haven't touched weight ever in your life, you just exist as a stick figure, right? Um, I would say when you start off, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, your first month at 2 times a week. And then there is this thing where you're still a beginner,
But you want more.
but you moved up a little bit. It's sort of like second breakfast. Um, thank you. Where now you've developed the foundations of movements, your hinge, squat, push, pull, that now you can it
Some endurance in the very least.
yes, you have to put the work in, you have to add the volume. This is where 3 to 4 is the magic number. 3 to 4 times a week. And then do that for the first 6 months, amazing gains. You will, because you've come from nothing.
You were just a stick figure.
Yes.
And now we're drawing a little bit of biceps on you.
You see results fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Newbie games is what they call it.
Newbie gains.
And yeah, 3 to 4 times, and then eventually you become an intermediate. Then you can squeeze in the 5 times a week. Now, as an advanced, now 2 caveats. There are people who like to use the term minimalist training. Now, minimalist training should not be done in the very beginning. You need to put the hours in, you need to put the reps in. And then for someone who's developed that foundation, did their 1 rep maxes, know what those are, know what their VO2 max, their red line, sub maximal training. I forgot what they call it. Anyways,
minimum effective volume.
no,
Is that what
it's
you're looking
damn. It's like not the red, but right before it's like orange or whatever that range is. Yeah, you put in a
for?
couple
Threshold training.
threshold. Yes, anaerobic threshold training. That's where it is. Yeah, anaerobic threshold. You develop that. You know what it is. You have metrics, and you know what your body is capable of. You've had 1 to 2 years experience, where you become an intermediate, and then once you have that foundation, then you can do minimalist training. You should not be doing minimalist training in the beginning. You should put the reps in, and then eventually get into minimalist training. However, if you are somebody who wants to compete in certain in marathons, high rocks, powerlifting, you play a professional sport. You gotta put in 5 to 6 days a week. You gotta have smart recovery days. You gotta be smart about the way you do your road work. MMA fighters, those like if you want to reach another level, 5 to 6 is where you want to be. If you want to achieve, your Mamba mentality, you gotta wake up 5:30 in the morning and drink raw eggs and punch meat in a meat factory.
Yeah, I think a good pointer here for a lot of people who are beginners or not familiar with a lot of these fitness terminologies. I think it's a good source that you should research, like MEV, like maximum recoverable volume, um,
Hmm.
all those kind of terms that are not popping into my head right now that should be not foreign to you. I think that you should one track your progress because even on a progressive overload standpoint of you doing a little bit more than what you did a day before, a week before, a month before, it's good to track your progress and see if you're actually getting stronger and to see if your program that you made up is actually working. So even though you're not actually following a specific program, I think it's good to one make sure you're tracking your workouts and writing down numbers that you're able to lift. And then maybe when you come back the next week, you try and see if you can match it or do a little bit more. So I think that one, even though that you are training 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 days a week, it also has to be measurable. It has to be something that you are actually progressing on because if you're not progressing, yeah, something's going on there.
The key is to measure, and you gotta sort of give a shit to measure too. A lot of people, and I'll speak for a lot of people that come to my gym, they don't care.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't care.
Yeah.
And that's fine. A lot of people are gonna pick the same weights for like the next 20 years.
Right.
And if you're happy, whatever.
Right. Yeah, and if you're not tracking anything, I think it's always good to come into a gym and to work out and have this we call it RPE or rate of perceived exertion. It's a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning like it almost killed you, you almost got hit by a bus, or you feel like you got hit by a bus, and 1 feeling like you didn't even go walking up a stairs. I think that a good mentality when it comes to working out and trying to gauge what your RPE is that you go into a workout, you're kind of like struggling a little bit, but not also dying. You're in that maybe like 7 to 8, maybe 9 range, and just always having a goal of hitting that kind of effort. Because if you're coming into the gym, not really sweating, not even making like these weird faces or struggling a little bit, then are you really about the gains?
I had a member speak to somebody and said like, "Oh, I have a thing." Goes to my class. "Oh, I have a new thing right now. You know what I'm doing? I'm skipping out the finishers. So we do 30 minutes of strength, 20 minutes of a finisher. It's like, here's my new thing I'm doing right now. I'm not doing finisher." I was like, "Well, why aren't you doing finisher?" It's like, "Oh, because it's hard and I get home, I'm tired, and then I get hungry." These are actual words that were expressed. And they pay me, the check clears. But that's what they don't want to do.
Yeah, I think some people are just not about it. You know, I'm not gonna single anybody out of the people that I've ever trained in my life, but some people just don't really want the smoke. They just want, you know, they want the feeling that they're working
They don't
out.
want the smoke. They want like the vape, like
Yeah.
no.
Little,
Yeah.
they want a little
They want to pull it just like and then
bubble gum, kiwi, watermelon, strawberry
go, yeah.
flavor, vape.
they want a little bump. They don't want the whole line.
Just
That's-
walking through the door is
Yeah.
good enough. And I swear to God, I can't relate to these people.
I can
Oh,
take that back. I can't relate, but I can understand.
Can I piggyback the whole rate of perceived exertion?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, ask a Josh, a Manny, a friend on that lift. Like what the perceived exertion part is really like it really hits you because like I learned this in a SFL workshop where I thought I can't go that much heavier, and they were like, oh, you know, like they tell you like, no, you like for reps, this was a 3.
but for you, you felt the
For me,
9.
I was just like, oh, this feels like, yeah, like okay, so 1 out of 10, I was like, oh, this felt like a 8 for me. They were like, no, that was a 4. You definitely could go more.
There's a thing with the coach's eye that
Yeah.
that we can see, and we know what a 3 looks like. We know what an absolute 10 looks like, and that's why I love powerlifting meets. I love high roxes, weightlifting meets. That is at that stage when you are on stage. That should be a 10. That should be an 11.
That's a make it or break it.
Yeah, there's footage of me doing a deadlift, and I'm just like, I am. I look like Schwarzenegger at the end of Total Recall when he ran out of air when he was in Mars. That's what I look like. That is a RPE 10,000.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think it takes a lot of practice, over years of practice, and also years of actually being honest with your perceived exertion. I think in the beginning, like, yeah, I think like one, when you're still learning technique and still learning movements, and the thing is actually freaking heavy, and not because one, not because it's heavy, but it's because you think it's heavy. And it also takes somebody else's eye to see if that's actually what the case is. Because if you're all just tense and you're like so focused on your breathing, and you lift it up and it was like really fast, and you say that was like a 9 or 10, it's like, is it really?
Yeah, it wasn't. But they don't know that because they haven't reached to what that level is.
Right.
So as a woman, I have to call a couple ladies out. Ladies, your RPE, like for whatever reason, is a lot higher.
No, you guys are definitely more capable than you think you are.
Like you could actually pick up. You wouldn't.
Women will underestimate their strength and guys will overestimate their strength.
That
I
is
know
true.
that because we did a deadlift contest at the All About Downtown Festival in downtown Jersey City. And we had a booth and we had a deadlift contest, deadlift twice your body weight. And guys, they, God help them. Yeah.
You gotta love the confidence, though.
That's the thing about men. They love to prove themselves. It's how we made it through centuries of war and making it through fitness was through confidence.
There you go.
Next question. Would you rather be 300-pound man that benches 500 pounds or a 120-pound man that benches 300 pounds?
120
Wha-
that benches 300 pounds.
As opposed to a
So it was 120-pound man that
Three-
benches 300 pounds
300 pounds.
or 300-pound man that benches 500 pounds.
120
would you be a real?
pounds.
Would you be a twig
That
that is
doesn't-
strong and unassuming that can bench 300, or would you be a really big guy and
unit.
dare I say unhealthy?
Could be, hey, you could just be big. Like, well,
300 pounds?
At 300 pounds is too heavy.
So, yeah. So,
Like okay, so when
so basically, you want to be an Eddie Hall, a former Eddie Hall, who can bench 500, or you want to be one of these elite level marathoners who can bench
120 to 300 is way more impressive.
300 pounds. Right.
Because
in
a
terms of
300-pound guy is
ratios,
basically
yeah.
just look.
You should be able to bench that at 300 pounds.
Isaac Newton said it best. Force equals mass times acceleration. And in order to have force, you must have mass. In order to have mass, you must gain mass. So weight moves if you're a big guy. And it doesn't even have to be muscle. Weight is weight. We see strongman, we see powerlifting, we see some really thick boys. Yeah. And the competition and the weight moves. And that's the thing. Look, I had to lose weight for a powerlifting meet and I felt my strength diminish. I felt, when Super Mario gets hit by a Goomba, he goes from big Mario to small Mario. That was me. My strength was never that. And the heavier you are, the more you're able to weigh. It's more impressive. I think
I'll go for 120,
120. But you're 120, dude. Do you even want to be 120? That's the real question. No, the answer is no.
Benching 300 pounds at 120, your chest is probably not supposed to be on that body if you're benching 300.
Yeah.
So anyway, that would be my answer.
Next question is, when is Cake Factory coming back? Like Morelli Santos.
Cake Factory is a class that we used to offer
Yes.
in IPA.
I'm aware about this. Cake
So-
Factory is when you do all the lower body exercises to build that cake.
To build that cake, though.
If you were just talking about someone saying, why is my ass so fat? And literally, this is the
She or he has been to way too many Cake Factory classes.
And what's the problem is what I'm trying to say. What is the problem? I would like to bring it back in some sort of iteration, and I don't know what that is. My barbell club is starting up next week.
this sounds like it depends.
Yeah. Yeah, Cake Factory might be coming up. Yeah, I don't know. Would you ever do a all butt class?
No.
Why not?
Why
Would
is
you
my ass
be
so big? That's why.
you wouldn't do Brett Contreras has made a really great living as a millionaire
Mm-hmm.
doing just all ass workouts.
Booty stuff.
Yeah.
I'm good. I like my booty the way that it is.
No,
I'd
no,
rather.
it's not for you. It's not for you.
Not.
You're making other people.
Yes and no. I'd probably say if I am focused on having a class like that, maybe 60 to 70% of Cake Factory, but then maybe a Cake Factory collab with Arm Farm. Maybe something like that.
Oh, an arm farm, many trademarks.
Just
Wow.
like, you're doing hip thrust at the same time doing bicep curls. So all extension and flexion at the same time.
Wow.
There you go.
You're right here first, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Final question.
Oh, no. Okay, is this the final question? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, final question.
That's all the questions we had?
Well,
Y'all better give us more.
So, okay, this they're gonna lose on plan, Mike.
Oh, God.
When is the black couch coming? That is the second to the last question, and I have no idea what it's.
If you fund us a black couch, we'll maybe change these brown ones.
We're
Although
more
this
into
not
like earth tones
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm. Although
We're
I-
very monochromatic. I mean, we have a black squat rack, but
So the answer to that question, we
it
don't know.
depends.
Oh,
All right, last, but this is a really good one.
Lay it on
Dan
us.
Herman.
Oh.
Is it possible to be an incredible and intuitive coach and trainer without being able to perform specific movements due to individual limitations?
It depends.
It depends.
Depends what the limitations are. Would you like to lead on this one?
Can you ask that question one more time?
So, is it possible to be an incredible and intuitive coach and trainer without being able to perform specific movements due to individual limitations?
We talked about last week. You gotta talk the talk and walk the walk. Yeah.
Right. Or either you have to have able to have walked it before in order to talk.
This is correct. I have been in certifications. I've done powerlifting certifications. I've done kettlebell certifications. I did a weightlifting certification. And in these three instances, the main instructor had to have assistants do the lift, present it how it's supposed to be. And it was like very interesting to me. Now, old Josh would have been like, why aren't you doing it? Why am I listening to you if you're not the one demonstrating? Years of injuries, whatever the story is, wealth of knowledge.
I mean, the saying is those who can't do.
No. The thing is, they've had done it. They have the accolades to prove it. But for some reason that they can't demonstrate it right now or can't demonstrate in a capacity that is suitable for a certification.
Oh, yeah. So, but like everyday training.
Everyone who ever watches me train somebody, I don't demonstrate. I've had my clients for years, and I said, "You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. All right, cool." And then I explain things. I use my words, Manny, to say what they need to do, and they sort of get me right away. Like I don't need to demonstrate what a plank is. They know what a plank is. Tuck their hips. I've explained that to them. And even when I teach a group class, I'm also getting somebody else. One, I'm lazy, and two, it puts you in a sense of prestige and power where you can tell people.
So your answer is yes, you can be a good coach or / trainer without.
Yeah. You don't need to prove much.
Yeah.
Like I was in a skier competition this past weekend at All About Downtown Festival, which was 100 meter. It wasn't our booth, but it was 100-meter ski erg. And somebody said, "Oh, this person had this record or whatever." It was one of their coaches. They're like, "I bet." So I went over there. I didn't say that. So I went over there, and so and then I went over there and I got the best time at 17.8 seconds. If you could beat that 100-meter ski. But no one has ever seen me ski before. So that was sort of like, no one has seen Josh work out. It's a mystery. Like people ask me, "Josh, do you work out?" I haven't seen any of you work out. And I'm like, Yeah, you haven't seen because I don't post it. I don't need to post it. Get out of social media, guys. Stop doing your TikToks. Go ahead, Manny.
I want to piggyback to the idea of what you're talking about before you went on this skier rant. That yeah, I think that if you're a person who was able to do it before and has the knowledge to the skill to pass on that knowledge, I think that yes, you can be an effective and intuitive coach. For example, I used to do a little bit of that salsa, a little bit of that bailar, that salsa. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
mi
Yeah, mi
gente.
gente. But so
Que lo
there's
que.
a very famous instructor back in the days where he was just like the best, the top of the top. He is the king of salsa here in New York City, but he no longer can teach. Like he's the type of guy where he will tell you how to do the move, but sometimes he's walking around in a cane, sometimes he's just sitting down on the bench, but because his body's just breaking down, he can't demonstrate. But he has like three or four of his dancers to demonstrate everything. Now, where did those dancers learn that? Probably from him. So, in terms of being an intuitive coach, an effective coach that no longer can demonstrate these different types of moves, if you have your words, your passion, your skill to communicate what needs to be done, then yes, I think that you still can be an intuitive coach. And I think this doesn't really, it relates to the answer, but it relates to the question, but doesn't really specifically answer this question. But you need the knowledge and you need the experience to actually teach what you want to preach. You can't be a marathon coach when you've never ran a marathon. You can't teach somebody how to step on stage to do a bodybuilding show if you haven't done a bodybuilding show. So I think one of the prerequisites of actually being an effective and intuitive coach is that one, you actually have to know what you're teaching or have done it yourself before. And tried and true. And yeah, the rubber needs to meet the road. And I also think that you kind of need the acceptance and the check mark from your peers to know if you are actually an intuitive or an effective coach.
Like you'll hear it too that either one, someone's talking out of their ass, or two, this guy knows what you're talking about, and you sort of feel it. I can't describe it. I can't quantify it,
Yeah.
but you sort of know when someone speaks it yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, there's a confidence behind the words that they're saying. They're not bullshitting. I mean, somebody can bullshit you and whatnot, but I think people who have the bullshit meter
Yeah.
or reader, they can really call that out.
Some people don't. Some people will write up a endurance program.
And
They'll
that's
make a
how-
running program and realize they haven't done it themselves, and then will bail out after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people that write programs that wouldn't do it themselves. I know that there are studios in the great city of New York City that there are trainers and coaches that program some horse shit on the workout of the day of like you I don't know, you run like a monkey basically. You're on all fours, you're running around and you're doing a lot of this stuff that you wouldn't do yourself. And like, how'd you get so big? You know how you got so big? Bodybuilding. A little bit of steroids probably help. Like that's how you got. But you didn't get in shape from all the thing you write down on the wall. A lot of this is like great for fitness, but it's not how you got there. The bullshit meter is definitely going up on that one too. So that's somebody who's like, I got it through this. It's sort of it's very scammy, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think your body as a canvas to promote fitness definitely has its positive and its negatives, or its upsides and its downsides. Because one, I think there's a rite of passage for people who are already jacked online that people will believe anything and everything that you say. This is a big controversy. Just because this guy is jacked and say he didn't take steroids and he ate XYZ and he's just preaching to everybody who wants to be preached to.
If you believed it, that's honestly on you. You deserve to be bamboozled, hoodwinked.
But I also believe that some people just don't know. They didn't know any better.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. It's like those people who listen to the guy you were speaking about from last episode, Pulveron, that
Oh yes.
that he was like eating brown rice, chicken, and broccoli. That's how I got to my role
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you will fool 12-year-old Josh. You're not gonna fool 36-year-old Josh. You know what I mean? Like you sort of know what gets into it because I put the time and effort. I try to put on muscle. I really do. It takes a lot of work to just get an itty bitty like little bicep peak, you know. But my ancestors didn't work on like curls back in the pyramid days.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, to the gist of the whole answer to the whole question, it's pretty much it depends. It depends.
we always go back to
It
it depends.
always crumbles down to depends and intuitive coach and effective coach. Honestly, if you're trying to be honest and real with yourself, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that. Are you an intuitive and effective coach?
When you coach, honestly, confidence is key. I can't believe, huh?
No, keep going. Sorry.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but like, fake it till you make it sort of helps. It sounds scammy. I just said not to scam people, but like, fake it till you make
Fake
it.
it till you make it, but actually do the work till you don't have to fake it and make it.
I never did a high rocks class until I actually did the high rocks class myself. Get there. At least be in the process of, you know what I mean? Like I've never done a bodybuilding shows, but I know what it takes to like sort of build muscle.
Right. And actually, to top this one off, being an effective coach, if you actually care of trying to be an effective coach, I think that classifies you already as an
It says
effective
something.
coach.
It says something. If you care about the person, it tells more about you than the trainer who's only trying to get a Gymshark like affiliation. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
They just want to tout themselves as like, oh, I'm hot shit. So
There you have it. That is the last question. Thank you, Dan.
thanks for the question, Dan.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thanks for subscribing. He's always commenting and asking us questions.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to ask us any questions, guys. Any questions, we will answer all of them.
Every single one.
Yes. No, send the feed pics.
Yeah.
Send the feed pics. No, send your feed pics. I will put them up. I'll have Leah put it up over here, and we will rate them.
We will
All right?
rate your feet.
We will rate your
pics
feet.
1 out of 10.
One at a time.
And thank you guys for another fun episode of the Movement Up podcast. And we really appreciate your contribution to the episode. If you have any more questions that you would like us to answer, fitness related or not, hopefully more fitness related, please fitness related, and some feet pics for Josh.
Yeah. Comment on the YouTubes. Comment on the Instagrams and DM us. And we will go to every single question. These questions are small now, so we will answer every single one until there comes a time where there's going to be so many questions. So take advantage of this right now.
There you go. We'll see you on the next one.